What's up, everybody? I'm David Hain, and I'd like to welcome you to episode 31 of the A to D from Addict to Disciple podcast. I'd like to give a big shout out to our listeners from Seattle, Washington. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to support taking this podcast to more people in more countries, please click on the support link in this episode's description. Your donation of any amount could change a life. When we come back, we'll get into our episode entitled Understanding Withdrawal. Welcome back to episode 31 of the From A to D podcast entitled Understanding Withdrawal. I'd like to start with a quote from the movie Trainspotting. Ewan McGregor's role as Mark Rentboy Renton said this as he knew withdrawal was coming to him soon. Quote, "I don't feel the sickness yet, but it's in the post, that's for sure. I'm in the junkie limbo at the moment. Too ill to sleep, too tired to stay awake, but the sickness is on its way. Sweats, chills, nausea, pain and craving. A need like nothing else I've ever known will soon take hold of me. It's on its way." Whew, what a quote. So he's talking about some of the symptoms of acute withdrawal. Let's define what I mean by acute withdrawal. When we're talking about acute, we're talking about those physical symptoms that set in rather quickly and tend to last a few days or maybe a week or two. It is that time when one is coming down from their high and the beginning of side effects of the absence of the drug in their body are starting to appear. These symptoms are caused by your body and brain adjusting to not having the drug added to your system anymore. It's like the ocean's tide is going out. Your brain has been regularly flooded with chemicals and is used to a constancy of high tide. Now it is scrambling to adjust to this new chemical imbalance. Depending on the drug used, the frequency of use, and the amount of use, it can begin within a couple of hours, or in some prescription medications, it can take 10 to 14 days before the side effects of withdrawal occur. Some drugs create physical withdrawal symptoms, such as alcohol and opiates. Sometimes withdrawal requires round-the-clock medical monitoring, especially with opiates, which can result in critical, life-threatening situations during withdrawal. These situations could include heart attacks, strokes, and seizures. Some drugs, such as cocaine or marijuana, create emotional withdrawal symptoms, and we'll talk about those in a few minutes, and I'll call that post-acute withdrawal. For now, let's look at the 6 areas of your body which can experience physical or acute withdrawal symptoms. Again, these usually last a few days to a few weeks. The first area we'll look at is your head. You could experience headaches, dizziness, or lightheadedness. Secondly, let's look at your chest. You would experience difficulty breathing and tightness in your chest. Third, let's look at your heart. You could experience a racing heartbeat, skipped beats, fluttering, or pounding in the area of your heart. Fourth, your digestive system. You could experience nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, stomach aches, and flu-like cramping. The fifth area we'll look at are your muscles. You could experience muscle tension or twitches or tremors and shakes or muscle aches and overall soreness in your muscles. 6, let's look at the skin. You could experience unusual sweating or tingling on the surface of the skin. And finally, overall, you might experience sleepiness, insomnia, fatigue, exhaustion, and a feeling that you're always cold and just can't get warm. You may or may not recognize these symptoms in a friend or loved one that they're in withdrawal from drugs or alcohol because they haven't admitted to you that they have still been using. Some may even be in a program, a shelter, or a sober living house, and they've kept their use and withdrawal hidden because they're afraid of getting kicked out. So what do you do as a friend of someone when you see these symptoms? How do you even talk to your friend if you suspect they're in withdrawal? Well, here's a checklist to keep in mind. First, contact an addiction professional or a medical professional and share your observations with them for advice. Second, do not let your friend isolate or stay alone. Third, assure your friend that you have their best interest at heart and that you will take them to the emergency room for evaluation if they want. Fourth, encourage them to not give in to the desire to try to feel normal again by returning to their drug of choice. Fifth, have them drink plenty of water, as it's very important to stay hydrated during withdrawal. Encourage them to eat nutritious and easily digestible foods. Sixth, ask them if they are ready to change. Remind them that there is treatment available and there is hope. Talk about the options that are available, like community groups, outpatient counseling, detox and rehab, or medical maintenance. And seventh, if their systems are persistent and they're not getting any better, be sure to seek medical help and intervention. Okay, that gets us through the acute phase of withdrawal. Now let's move on to the post-acute phase, which again looks at mental or emotional withdrawal symptoms. Let me state right up front that many people who are starting in their recovery and most of their loved ones expect these mental or emotional symptoms to only last a month or two. The truth is, these symptoms can last for a couple of years, not continuously, but they arise sporadically over a couple of years and may last a couple days at a time. And each time they arise, they can be intense as the first time. Keep in mind, there is a physiological aspect of recovery that creates these lingering emotional withdrawal aspects. Without getting too technical, it's simply that as we flooded our brain with chemicals during our addiction, our brain stopped creating dopamine on its own, and the brain is now relearning how to create dopamine in response to different stimuli. So we'll look at two major categories of post-acute withdrawal symptoms. The first one is anxiety or depression. And this is riddled with lots of emotions. You may experience mood swings, panic attacks, restlessness, irritability, anger, agitation, have problem handling any stress, feel sadness, social isolation, or apathy. You may be emotionally numb or emotionally overreactive. You may struggle with paranoia, poor memory, struggle to focus or concentrate. You may find yourself crying for no reason and getting suicidal thoughts. The second category we'll look at is tiredness. And in this category, you may have insomnia, difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep. You may battle fatigue all the time and low energy. You may be having nightmares or bad dreams or drug dreams. And you may have a lack of motivation for anything. Okay, that's a long list of emotional and mental symptoms. And I just want to tell you, don't panic because of that list. Here's some ways that you can think about handling those emotions as they pop up in your recovery during post-acute withdrawal. Number one, understand that it is normal. All of those symptoms you may experience, or half of them or most of them. Number two, don't let the arrival of new symptoms trigger relapse. Number three, stay connected with people and reach out to form new connections. Number four, attend support groups and counseling. Number five, talk through your emotions with a sponsor or a mentor. Number six, keep your five senses involved in your daily activities. Do those things that refresh you. Do creative things like music, art, and poetry. Number seven, enjoy the outdoors. Go for walks. Spend time in nature. Number eight, don't beat yourself up. Learn to roll with the flow. In closing, Stevie Winwood had a hit with the song Roll With It in 1988. I want to encourage you to roll with it as you listen to some of the lyrics. When life is too much, roll with it, baby. Don't stop and lose your touch. Oh no, baby. Hard times knocking on your door, I'll tell them you ain't there no more. Get on through it. Roll with it, baby. Luck will come and then slip away. You've got to move. Bring it back to stay. Hang on and just roll with it, baby. Thanks for listening to this episode of the A to D From Addict to Disciple podcast. Tune in Monday for our next episode. If you'd like to contact me regarding Q&A sessions on addiction, speaking engagements, addiction coaching or consulting, or to utilize the From A to D curriculum and podcasts in your location, please go onto my website, www.FromA2D.org, and click on the contact page, or leave me a message on Anchor. As always, stay safe and stay strong.